Are you ever just playing a video game and then you think to yourself, I fucking love chemicals! Yeah, well, apparently I did, and now I own Mercury Meltdown. Hello everybody! Today we're going to be taking a look at Mercury Meltdown, released on August 24th, 2006, December 4th, 2006, and October 16th, 2007, all in North America. Now, the question is, why so many dates? Well, why so many versions? I guess the better question is, why am I bundling these all together? These two don't stray any further from the PSP original, but despite that, they have different titles. For this review, I'll just be using the PlayStation 2 version as it's the easiest system for me to set up, and also because I feel like it. So, my introduction to this game was another game entirely titled Mercury HG. This is one I had on the PS3 though. It was actually published by the same guys, Ignition Entertainment. Unfortunately, the game is delisted, and the PS3 that had it is long gone. So you can imagine, while searching around one day, I found Mercury Meltdown, which is a more cartoony version of this game, and it actually came out first. Or maybe it didn't. There's actually another one by the same studio and publisher, but it's by a different main designer. This one is from 2005, and it's titled Archer McLean's Mercury. Yeah, I wonder who the different designer was. Anyways, this is more or less structured how I remember the PS3 game playing. So, I got the PS2 and Wii versions to relive a lost piece of my childhood, and now I'm reviewing them. I've always liked these random one-off games, especially the ones you can pretty much only get digitally. Hamster Ball PS3, Jelly Car 2, TNT Racers Fancy Pants Console Edition, just to throw some out there. So, let's enter the lab where the Mercury is apparently having a meltdown. Oh man, I hope it's alright. C64 callback, by the way. Alright, main menu time. Now, the thing with this menu is there's a lot of options within some of these options, including options. Also, this game doesn't have multiplayer, which is kinda weird considering that there's a menu option titled Party Games, but those are just side mini-games that you can unlock and play as a party of one. Sad. The load replay option is pretty self-explanatory. You can load replays of save runs you've done. Last for everything that isn't the campaign, Extras has a few neat options too. Tutorials, videos you've seen, sound tests, credits, and hints, but they've also included a sandbox mode for you to roam around in and test all the unique obstacles and etc. that the game has to offer. Now we move on to the long single player. Now don't kill me, even though I'm reviewing this game, I didn't actually beat it entirely. I'll start this out by saying it's fairly repetitive. You know, they try to shake things up by introducing new features, but the gameplay remains the same, for the most part. But you see, that's why I don't exactly feel terrible for not finishing it, because it's meant to last you a long time. There's literally hundreds of levels. This was designed as the type of game you go back to every so often until you're done. Now regarding the progression, it's a little uneven. You're never really meant to get better. There are just random hard levels and random easy levels. And let me tell you, the hard levels get especially brutal if you're going for 100%. I don't care how stupid the game is, I go for 100% every single time! Plus, I also spend way more time than is necessary just dicking around in games, especially when I was younger. As is the case here. So yeah, I'll take my order of playground mode now. I guess with those factors in play, the uneven progression doesn't seem like that huge of a detriment because you could just pop in at any time and it'll be a fair game for you. Or you could spend your time elsewhere. Hey, and if you can see, you've probably also noticed that this game looks like the hardest balls Marble Madness. Pun intended. And what they did here was incorporate that game style and mix it with a puzzle aspect. This type of game flourishes well in this environment. It's designed in a way that makes you want to go back to it. The use of Mercury here too is great. They took its real-life properties and used them as effects to change things up. With the added fact that there's so many goals to meet a single level, there's the high score to beat, the full Mercury count you have to keep, and the bonus is spread all throughout as collectibles. You see, they knew I was gonna play this game, so they put all that shit in so I could spend at least 3 tries on each level. Also, let us not forget the PSP roots of this game. A handheld format works much better with this style. Yeah, it's like the major downside of the console version that you can't bring it on the go.
It's like a net you can play with outside.
The last thing I want to discuss is the game's quality. Here, I feel like I have to mention it. This game is great. The art direction is really nice for the system limitations of the original platform. It gives off a fun vibe, and the biggest factor for me appreciating this is the budget. You can tell it's a smaller budget title on cheaper, more common systems. It's a simpler style game and it was only like 20-25 bucks Canadian, eh? And it still is. Think about it, nice restaurant or Mercury Meltdown. I'll take starving, thank you very much. Last thing I want to touch on, I've actually been looking at the worst version. The PSP has the portable advantage, and the Wii has even more levels than the already expanded PlayStation 2 version. Plus, it has better graphics. Final verdict. I'm actually willing to give this game an 8 out of 10. A weaker 8, but still an 8 nonetheless. I'm really impressed with what these guys were able to create given their position. Clearly they were too, as they released it 2 more times. It's a fun, solidly built game that clearly has some effort in it. It's not groundbreaking, but it is a fun time, and you can enjoy it for quite a while. I would recommend the Wii version. You can use the classic controller if motion controls are the bane of your existence. No multiplayer and repetitiveness is a huge letdown though. And there you have it, my review of Mercury Meltdown, a surprisingly fun game for a surprisingly constant low price. I definitely recommend picking these up if you're in for a good time for a long time. For me, I love games like this. I always play Angry Birds, Bad Piggies, whatever, you know, those kinds of games that they last forever. These games are sort of like that in that you won't actually beat them anytime soon if you play them casually. Obviously, if you're looking for a game that you're going to play for a long time consistently, there's better option for that. But for something like this, it's a pretty fucking good option. Now apparently I love chemicals, so I'm gonna go enjoy a fulfilling meal of lead spaghetti and a refreshing drink of pine cleaner. Be right back. Disclaimer, please don't do that, you're gonna die. Thanks for watching. Was eating the plant.